Picture Nerd here. Today I want to show you how to draw a face. Drawing a face is relatively easy. You start out by drawing an oval shape, and you need to keep in mind that when you draw your oval, you don't need to draw it 100% accurately as an oval. In this case, I'm showing you that when I draw my ovals, I tend to sketch a little bit and just sketching the lines until I get the perfect looking oval shape. And when I do this, I tend to draw relatively quickly and relatively lightly. So the key to doing this is to drawing fast, light, and quickly. And in this case, as I get more into which shape is starting to look like my perfect oval, I tend to darken in my lines a little bit more. And when I get my lines that I want, I go back and I start erasing the lines that I don't like. So this helps when you draw relatively lightly versus heavily. And in this case, it kind of helps to kind of keep the end in mind. It's like, what kind of head shape do you want for your face? So generally, whatever head shape I'm drawing, I generally start out with kind of an oval. If you want a more elongated face, you tend to draw a more elongated type of oval shape. So if you're trying to draw a squatter face, then maybe like a more circular shape for the head. And you're probably wondering why we're gonna start out with an oval. Generally, it leaves room for the hair. So while you could draw a face without drawing out a complete oval, I find it a little bit easier for me so that it leaves room for like the forehead and hair. So next step is to basically section the face down into two parts. So I'm just going to draw a little guideline here, and this allows me to kind of symmetrically draw the eyes. So once again, you draw fast and light, and if you can't draw a straight line, you could draw multiple lines in there. And then next step is to section the face in half, and once again you lay down a guideline. Now I'm not too happy with my guideline, so I'm just going to keep drawing until I get the perfect guideline. And as with the oval of the face, you could erase as you go along. So here we go, we start erasing a little bit more here. Yeah, just not happy with with the way the guidelines are laying out. And you'd find that when you start drawing, you don't have to compromise. Just basically, essentially, stick to your vision with how you want your guidelines to go. And you're probably wondering why I'm so nitpicky about the guidelines is because the guidelines define out the features of the face we're going to draw. If you put the eyes higher, then you might create like a larger jawline. If you create the eyes lower, then the jawline gets a little bit lower. Next two guidelines define out where the nose is going to be and where the mouth is going to be. So it looks like I've made the guideline to the nose a little bit too high and the mouth a little bit too high. So I'm going to erase those lines and just start over. Once again, it's sort of a trial and error process, and you don't need to draw the lines out 100% accurate when you first lay them down. So let's go ahead and go back here, and we'll try this again. I'm going to start off a little bit lower here. There we go. And a little bit lower there. And maybe just draw another line. There we go. And I'm kind of happy with the guidelines. When you draw the eyes, generally some people say you have to bisect another line right in the middle there. And I find that sometimes it looks a little bit off if you do it that way. So what I like to do is I kind of like to draw another oval. So once again, it's just drawing like a curvy shaped oval there. And I kind of like to draw these just kind of right in the center of that bisection. So once again, with the eyes as with the original oval to the face, you can draw in many lines. You work fast you work quick and you work lightly, and then you go back in and you darken in the lines that you like. And there's always a danger of overworking the image, so when you work quickly, you tend not to overwork the image. And here we go. I'm just going to erasing out the lines as I go along. And it's once again, it's just kind of a trial and error process. Takes a little bit of practice, so if you don't get it right the first time, don't give up. Just erase a little bit more and keep going. Here we go. And it's starting to define out the eyes. They start to look a little bit symmetrical, and if it's a little bit off, it's don't panic. The human face sometimes, when you look at someone's the picture of people, the eyes aren't always symmetric, so don't kill yourself in making the eyes perfectly symmetric. Next, I'm just going to define out the nose here. And the nose is just a little line, the way I draw my noses. And let's go ahead and draw a mouth. The mouth is just another oval, very similar to like the way that you draw the eyes, except the oval is a little bit more compressed. So go ahead and draw in the mouth there. And once again, just quick, fast lines. And looks like my lines are getting a little bit too dark. I may want to go back and maybe just use the eraser there. And let's try another mouth there. So this time I'm just going to just kind of broaden out the stroke a little bit more. Just kind of flush out the mouth there. And here's where we see the guideline just really helps out. It really helps out where those guidelines are. And you see, I could put the mouth a little bit lower as well too. And I could also put the nose slightly lower as well. But you start to see the importance of the guidelines. And we also see that I could use the guidelines to draw in the ear. So here I also have another frame of reference for where the bottom of the earlobe is going to go. So when you first draw in that oval, you need to really think about where you want to place some of your guides. And it really does define out the characteristics of the face. And I recommend you to, when you're starting doing this, maybe just draw out a few quick ovals and lay out a few quick guidelines. And maybe not really flesh out the whole drawing, but kind of get a sense of where the eyes, nose, and mouth and ears would end up going. So you could essentially get some practice in the guidelines. Just above the eyes, we're just going to lay in the eyebrows. And eyebrows are kind of easy. Those are just kind of like curves, or just kind of like angular, kind of upside down check mark, if you will. So next we're just going to further define out the eyes. And eyes are kind of tricky because you might be tempted to draw in like eyelashes. If it's a female face you're trying to draw in, you're probably tempted to lay out some mascara. I just kind of tend to ignore those aspects and just kind of darken everything in. When you lay in the eye in there, you just start out drawing like a half curve. And then we just draw another half curve, and I tend to kind of be a little bit messier in the eyes because it kind of represents the catch light or the spotlights that you see, or the twinkle in the eye. So kind of want to leave those items intact as well. And once again, if you're not happy with how it's going out, don't be afraid to use the eraser. That's what it is there for. Once again, the key to drawing the eye is to draw lightly and relatively quickly to get the eye in there. And let's see, we're just going to go ahead. And next is the character is starting to look a little bit undefined. So let's go ahead and we'll just flush in the mouth a little bit more. And just want to just kind of lay in where the mouth line is going to be. And we're just going to add in some more definition to the mouth there. And the character is looking a little bit bald, so let's go ahead and draw in some hair. Hair is one of those tricky things. Like you could kind of ruin your face drawing by overworking the hair. So my trick in drawing the hair is to start off with the outline, where I want the hair to go. So I draw in a few sketch lines into finding out where I want my hair to be at. So I'm just going to start at the top here, just laying the top of the forehead and drawing where I want the lines of the hair to go. And I'm just not really defining it out, just kind of abstractly thinking about where I want hair to be. And it's also kind of tricky, like as you're envisioning the hairdo of the face here. So I'm just going to draw another line in, just kind of make the hair a little bit more poofy. There we go. And we're starting to see the hair kind of start to define out. I'm going to start drawing out the other side of the hair. And we start to lay in a few quick lines in there. And hairstyles aren't really symmetrical. There's always like a one side, or you might have a hairstyle where the bangs come out. So just really want to kind of capture the energy in the hair. Curly hair is also going to be a little bit harder to draw, so I tend to draw like wavy hair, if you will. You could draw straight hair, but it doesn't really look good on a character or on the face that you're drawing out. So in this case, I'm just going to draw a few lines to try to represent long, sort of wavy hair. There we go. And we start to see exactly which part of the face we're using. And we notice that when we draw in the oval, you see that about a third of that oval is consumed by the hair. So let's just start erasing out the oval, and I'm going to erase out the ears. And you're probably wondering why draw in ears if I'm going to just erase it out anyways. Well, it helps me figure out the anatomy and the symmetry of the face that I'm drawing. So even though I erase out the ears, I tend to draw them in anyways. If you do draw in the ears like the way I'm drawing them in, you don't necessarily need to define them out. And let's go back in here. Let's erase out some of the guidelines. So, and also let's erase out some lines in the hair that don't seem to work, and some lines in the hair that don't necessarily work out. So let's go back here and erase away here. And as you notice now, there's going to be the remaining of the oval of the face. So that's why it's important to draw a little bit lightly. And you could also rework the hair too if you're not exactly happy with some of the way things are going. So here we are. We're just going to go ahead and just rework some lines in there. And let's go ahead and erase out some of these hairlines that I didn't end up using. And let's go ahead and rework this hair here. Let's make the hairdo a little bit more dramatic. Let's make it slope in a little bit more. And let's go ahead and erase here. So let's go ahead and erase out the that part of the ear, and we'll just leave the lower part of the ear intact. So by drawing the ears in earlier, it looks like the ear does fit in, because we kind of drew it as part of the face, and we just added in the hair. So we'll go back in here, we'll erase out any remaining like guideline there. So we erase out traces of the guideline. And once we do that, we could add in some more hair below the ear area. So as we see now, when you follow these steps, drawing a face is not necessarily intimidating, but just a series of quick steps. And of course, if this is not the way you draw a face, of course, rules are meant to be broken. You don't necessarily need to draw a face following these steps. You could use just a few of these steps. And the way I flesh out the bottom half of the hair is I curl the opposite way. So if you move it in the opposite way, it creates another definition in the background. And of course, I've kind of overworked the hair, added in too many lines, so let's go ahead and erase out a few of these lines. And let's go ahead and finish out this neckline here. So we'll flush out the neck. And there we have it. We have the face drawing. And it's just this simple to draw a face. And I hope you would pick up your pencil and practice it as well.